In a world that is just completely saturated with screens, there's this old poem that offers a really fierce, almost fantastical warning about what it calls the television monster. So today we're going to break down this powerful argument, a message from a totally different era that, honestly, might be more relevant than ever.
Okay, let's dive right in. The poem does not ease you into this at all. It kicks off with this absolute, almost frantic command. That repetition of never, never, never. It's like a blaring alarm bell, right? This isn't just a piece of advice. It's framed as the single most critical rule for raising a child. The tone is set immediately. This is an emergency.
So, we start with the first part of the argument, which is just a direct attack. The television here isn't some appliance in the corner of the room, it's personified as a full-on monster. And by calling it an idiotic thing, the poem really casts it as this malevolent force that's invading the home. It's the central villain in the story of a modern childhood.
Now, just look at the language being used here. It's so physical, it's almost grotesque. Words like gaping, loll, and slop paint this picture of total passivity, of children whose bodies have just gone limp while their minds are completely consumed. The poem argues they're not just watching, they are hypnotized, and get this, absolutely drunk on the junk that's on the screen.
Okay, this line, it's a perfect example of the poem's dark, twisted sense of humor. What we're seeing here is a literary device called hyperbole. I mean, obviously, no one literally saw eyeballs on the floor. It's a deliberate, almost cartoonishly gross exaggeration that's meant to shock you. It takes that common phrase, stare until their eyes pop out, and just pushes it to its most absurd conclusion. It really forces us to think about how unnatural it is to just stare blankly at a screen.
Now, this is a really clever move because it shows some empathy for the parent. I mean, look at the left side. TV keeps them quiet, it stops the chaos, it lets you get things done. It is an undeniable convenience. But right when we're nodding along, the poem hits us with that powerful question on the right. But did you ever stop to think? It forces us to put the short-term gain right up against a potential, unseen, and maybe far greater cost.
And now we get to the real heart of the warning. This next section, it pulls no punches. It lays out in the clearest possible terms the specific damage the poem claims television is inflicting on a child's mind.
The first claim is just so visceral. The poem doesn't say TV dulls the mind or distracts it. No, it says it actively causes decay. The word rots, that is a powerful, very deliberate choice. It makes you think of something biological, something spoiling from the inside out. It's an intellectual decomposition.
The second charge is just as serious. We're talking about murder here. The logic is that television does all the work for you. It gives you the images, the sounds, the voices, and because of that, a child's own imaginative muscles never get a workout. So in this view, imagination isn't just weakened, it's killed. It just withers and dies because it's no longer needed.
So here's the crucial point. It's this distinction between active thinking and just passively receiving information. The poem's logic is that thinking is an active process. You're creating, you're interpreting, you're fantasizing. But seeing, in this context, is just absorbing content that's already been made for you, without any real mental effort.
And this is the final state the poem warns us about. The metaphors are incredible. A brain as soft as cheese. Can you picture that? It implies it has no structure left, and mental powers that rust and freeze from not being used. The ultimate tragedy here, according to the poem, is a child who can no longer connect with the very thing that makes childhood magical, fantasy and fairyland.
So after painting this incredibly bleak, frankly depressing picture, the author knows what parents are thinking. If not TV, then what on earth do we do? So the poem pivots, moving from a critique of the present to a full-on celebration of the past, offering a powerful forgotten alternative. This question is just the perfect setup. It reframes the whole problem, suggesting that a solution already existed and we've just forgotten about it. It challenges our modern dependence on technology for entertainment by reminding us that, hey, generations of children grew up perfectly happy and fulfilled before this monster was ever invented.
And there it is, the answer. It's delivered with the slow, deliberate rhythm, like it's a profound revelation. The spacing of the words on the slide is meant to reflect that. It has emphasis, it has weight. The solution isn't some complicated new parenting technique, it's something simple, classic, and incredibly powerful. And to prove its point, the poem just unleashes this beautiful, chaotic list of all the worlds that books can unlock. We've got everything here. Dragons, pirates, smugglers, even cannibals. This isn't just about nice, cozy stories. It's about adventure and danger and just boundless imagination. Every single item on this list is a prompt that requires the reader to build an entire world inside their head, the very thing that poem claims television lets die.
And it goes even deeper than that. It wasn't just about abstract worlds. It was about relationships. These weren't just names in a book. They were characters kids knew and loved. The poem suggests that books used to populate a child's inner life with friends and enemies, creating this incredibly rich internal landscape.
So, we've got the diagnosis of the disease, and we've been presented with the cure. Now the poem concludes with its prescription. And it's not a suggestion, it is a direct, actionable plan for parents, and it even comes with a warning about how hard it's going to be, and a promise of the reward at the end.
You've got to love how brutally honest the poem is about this process. Step 3 is so important. It flat out acknowledges there's going to be a withdrawal period. There will be screams and yells. It's warning parents, hey, this won't be easy, but it insists that if you just hold firm, the child's natural boredom will eventually lead them to discover the books you've put in their path.
And here is the promised payoff, that big shift in perspective. The poem claims that children won't just learn to tolerate books. They will fall head over heels in love with them. Their passion will grow so strong that they'll eventually look back at the television, the very thing they craved, and see it for what the poem says it is, just a ridiculous machine.
This is it, the final emotional payoff. The source argues that by making this really hard choice, by enduring the tantrums and holding the line, parents are giving their children a gift that one day they will understand and be profoundly grateful for. The reward isn't just a kid who likes to read, it's a deeper, more meaningful bond built on a foundation of love and wisdom.
And so this whole poetic argument leaves us with a really challenging thought for today. I mean, it talks about a single television set, but we live in a world with 1,000 screens in our pockets, our cars, our classrooms. The poem's central question is still so potent. In the face of all this passive entertainment, what does it truly take to fight for and rediscover the active, imaginative magic of a simple book?